Last night, a package that we've been waiting for finally came in. I have it right here, and I'm ready to get into it and show you guys what's in here as well. So stick around and let's open this baby up. Welcome back to Black Widow Fishing. My name is Bryce, and if you're new here, we cover all things fishing, from products and services that can improve your skill or enjoyment of the sport to the current news coming out of the industry. So if this sounds like something that interests you, please be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can catch all of our new content. If you've seen our channel before, you'll notice that our setup is a little different today. I have my iPad right here, which I'm going to use as a reference for some information as we're doing an unboxing for a company that I've actually not had any interactions with before. So I want to make sure the information that I give you guys is accurate. Also, you'll notice this nice mic in front of me. Now that our shows are available on podcasts, I figured it was a great time to step up our audio game and make sure the videos as well as the podcasts sound more professional. So what do we have today? Inside this package we've been waiting for, as promised, we have our Warriors tackle box. And so before we get into that, I'll tell you the different types of boxes that they offer, what I actually purchased, and then we'll get into the unboxing and all my thoughts and if I think this is something that you should subscribe to. So when you go to their website, which is warriorstacklesupply.com, you're provided with basically two different types. You can get a one-time box, or you can get a monthly subscription like some of the other boxes out there. But the monthly subscription allows you to save 15%. So right off the bat, if you're going to get a Warriors box, I suggest that you subscribe for the monthly subscription so you can take advantage of that 15% discount. And if you don't want it anymore after your first box, then I would say go ahead and either pause it or cancel your subscription. That way you're not missing out on a discount. So once you pick monthly box or your one-time box, then you're allowed to pick what kind of fish that you want. You can pick multiples, what it appears to be, and they offer boxes for bass, perch, walleye, crappie, pike, and trout. So we have selected the monthly subscription. I did it in a 3-box subscription for now, so I can try it 3 times, as I had a discount code that would, I believe, give me 1 month for free. But I'd have to check on that. But it'll be in the description below. And if I find any promo codes, I'll leave that in the description below as well. So we did select the bass since that's primarily what we target. Then once you move on to the next page, which is technically the third page of the plan, a 3-step plan to kind of figure out what box it is for you, you can pick your standard, which is for $26.99 a month, and it provides a value of approximately $40. Or they have the XL option for $32.99, which provides you a value of approximately $50. And then you have the Pro, which is $42.99, and that provides you an approximate value of around $70. So we did go with the Pro. We figured if we're going to try it, we might as well try the highest one so we can get a really good idea of what kind of value you could expect if you did go with their Pro plan. And then, of course, once you hit the next button on that, you're given so you can check out for your survey and get your box going. But I'm going to go back here as there's some other information that I want to cover that they leave on their website. So Warrior Tackle Supplies tries to separate themselves from the other box services. I would say mainly Mystery Tackle Box, because we know that Monster Bass kind of curates the box based on your region or state. And so Warrior Tackle Supply says that they provide a monthly mystery lure box based on high quality lures. And they say that they curate their box towards your different situations on your chosen fish species. So what is also different is that some of the proceeds go to support veteran and first responder programs, which, as being a veteran myself and a former first responder, I think that is totally awesome. And unless this box is really, really subpar, I will probably subscribe, just because I kind of like to support businesses that support our first responders and veterans. But we'll get into that once we actually open the box and see what's in there. Warriors Tackle Supply also goes on to say that their boxes are curated with high quality tackle. They say that their monthly subscription boxes come with premier VTS lures that are of high quality material. They also state that many of their lures are already outfitted with Mustad hooks or VMC hooks, which I think is a great thing. Mustad and VMC aren't my favorite hooks that I use. I prefer some other brands such as Owners or Spearpoint. But the fact that you're getting high quality hooks and you don't actually have to change out your hooks on your lures is a great benefit. So Mustad and VMC will work just fine. They also say that they mix in quality brands of lures with their custom lures, which will include things like Live Target, Chase Bait, Strike King, Z-Man, Fish Head, Rapala, Guggen Baits, Lunker Hunters, and other kinds. And so all those are, pretty popular lures, and I actually use a lot of those as well. Mystery Tackle Box kind of puts a little bit of those in there, but not really. They kind of stick to their own like private label brandings or more of the smaller brands. Monster Bass does actually include a lot of those. And if you saw the last Monster Bass unboxing, which I'll leave a card right up there, we did get some Live Target, and I believe we got some Strike King stuff in there too, maybe some Z-Man as well. So this box is looking like it is a more of a competitor with Monster Bass. But again, as I stated, we'll see once we get into the boxes. The pricing is a little different. It appears that Warriors Tackle Supply is slightly more expensive. And once we get into the box, I can just tell by the packaging, without even having looked inside, why that might be. So once we get into it, I'll go ahead and give you some further thoughts about that. So I've already opened the Loud mailer, so we can go ahead and take out the boxes that are inside here and see what we got. So they're unopened. The first thing I can tell you is that they have shipped this in poly bags. Let's see if you can see that. So they're unopened, and so the box is actually by itself, it's very different right off the bat. It's very colorful. Obviously, both the other boxes that we open on our show do have, their labels and their company logos on there. But this is done on all sides. It lets us know very clearly that they have a Facebook, Twitter, and an Instagram page right on the side of the box. So I'm actually going to go ahead and check those out once we're done with this. But on the back of this box, it says that they take pride in their craftsmanship. They take pride in the craftsmanship of our own Warriors Tackle lures. Every lure produced for us goes through vigorous testing to ensure great quality. We use high quality hooks and use our custom Spartan eyes on all of our hard baits. Each box contains their top selling lures with each season in mind to help you catch the big ones. And then they go ahead and give you their website. So our other boxes don't do that. And then we have one more inside this as part of our box that we ordered, the Pro Box, I'm assuming. But, I'll be able to tell next month when we get another shipment of it. But the box is the same, has the same verbiage on the back, but it's obviously bigger. So we've received two boxes. I'm going to cover my face a little bit. So you've got a smaller one and a bigger one, which I can only assume this is part of their Pro package. If it's not, and somebody is more familiar with Warriors Tackle Supply, or if anybody from Warriors Tackle Supply is seeing this, go ahead and leave it in the comments or send me an email more specifically about it so I can get some more information and make sure I'm putting out accurate stuff to everybody. So let's go ahead and start with this smaller box. I do like that Warrior Tackle Supply does send their boxes in poly bags. While I haven't lost a lure before with Monster Bass or even Mystery Tackle Box, I have had a Mystery Tackle Box that was opened once it was delivered. Everything was still in there according to the inventory card, but it's a little reassuring that, number one, they put it in poly bags and that they sent it in a mailer, unlike the other two that just send you the box closed up, mostly closed up. So opening this first box, we've got a card right on top. I don't know if you guys can see this. We've got a card right on top, and then we've got some plastic down, which I believe has the lures, which means that they're probably separated. So we'll pull out this first card, and it basically is kind of like the other ones. This is a high quality card. This is better than a lot of business cards. It's plastic, appears to be plastic or vinyl, but it's definitely a high quality card, and it tells us what kind of baits are here with the verbiage next to it. I'll leave a picture of this somewhere in the video so you can actually see it, but I'm not going to go down this whole thing. I will tell you what kind of baits they are though. And so our lures inside here are absolutely packaged phenomenally. They are separated, so there's no tangling. They don't have any additional packaging. So you can throw these things right inside your tackle boxes. And if you've seen any of my Tackle Tip Tuesdays, you know what I do with my crankbaits and how I keep them stored so they don't tangle up. I think that this is phenomenal packaging. So far, the best packaging I've ever seen on a tackle supply box. So inside here, it says that we have an Angry Vib. It says we have a D6 crank. It says we have a Min Jerk, an Archie Lipless, and a Jerk Junior. So let's go ahead and open this up. So I definitely can assume that this chartreuse, let's see. So this appears to be totally custom lure with a custom paint job. It's got the Warriors label on top. This is like a chartreuse pattern. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's very interesting. This looks like a medium diameter jerk bait, but I'm assuming definitely that this is the minimum jerk, which is 3.4 inches total. Let's put that back. Then we've got the Jerk Junior. Again, it appears to be custom painted. It's very high quality. The eyes and as well as the paint look super phenomenal. It's got a little rattle to it. The hooks are very sharp, as you see. I already hooked myself. And it says that this is a floating diving jerk bait. So we'll put that back. We've got a little tiny pink and white crankbait, again with another rattle in there. Then we have a really small lipless crank. I actually have not used a lipless crank that is this small, but it's got more like a spring craw kind of pattern. Once again, it's painted very well. Then we have another lipless crank with a heavier rattle. This thing is very heavy. I'm not sure which one this is, but I would go ahead and assume that this is the Archie lipless crank, and it's 3/4 of an ounce. As you can hear that, I mean, this thing is really heavy. The ball bearings that are in here that create that rattle, you can definitely feel it. Each time this moves, you can feel all these balls inside here moving. The pattern is more like an orange tiger color. The face of this lipless is very much reminds me of the Arc lures. I absolutely love Arc lures. They catch me fish all the time. So it'll be interesting to give this one a try. So that's that first miniature box. So let's go ahead and open this next one. This is much bigger, as stated. And over that. And so again, we're presented with the high quality information card as well. I'll leave a picture for that. And so in here, we've got 2, 4, 6. We've got 8 lures in here, and they're packaged the same perfect kind of packaging as before. So let's go ahead and pop this baby out and see what's inside here. All right, this one's a little bit more difficult to open, which if you're getting stuff transported and shipped, it's not always a bad idea to have it be a little difficult to open. Okay, so looking at these, they are definitely some very unique lures that I have never seen before. So we'll just start going down the list. So here is, obviously, this is going to be a topwater, looks like it to be a topwater walker. Has a yellowish, not so much chartreuse, but a yellow stripe down the side. Definitely resembles more of a shad pattern. Once again, I don't know which baits are which. That's the one thing that I do wish is that they would kind of label them or some sort of way for you to know what's in here. With their great packaging, though, I can't really complain. But it would be nice to know which is actually which. So maybe if anybody from Word Tackle Supply is listening, maybe put a number or some sort of picture or something to kind of distinguish what's on here. So I'm assuming that this is just their minnow bait that they say it's a floating action jerk bait with 2 treble hooks. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's not. I don't know. So then they have a very nicely painted deep diving crankbait. This is probably going to be key coming up now that most of the fish are starting to go deep. It's got a very interesting pattern. You can tell that this is definitely hand painted because both sides are slightly different. The color's slightly different on both sides, but the overall pattern's the same. It's definitely got another really big noisemaker inside of here, which you can feel. And I can feel the thumping through my hand as I just kind of shake it just a little bit. So this is definitely going to irritate some fish. Then the next lure that we have is looks to be a smaller jerkbait. This definitely looks like a trout to me. So that is my assumption, is that this is a trout. So this might be good in, those bodies of water where they do have trout for the bass and they're picking off their little young. It's got another one of those really, really big thumpers in here. So then our next bait is this very cool gold and purple crankbait. Once again, appears to be another deep diving crankbait. This one definitely feels heavy as well, as far as with there goes these sharp hooks again. Definitely feels very heavy as far as the noisemakers inside here, but I can also feel smaller noisemakers inside here as well. So I feel big ones and I feel small ones. And this is really just hard to explain the feeling that you get unless you actually have it. So I'm trying my best, but definitely feels like there's big ones and small ones in here, and it produces a little different sound. Then we start to get to some jerkbait, some bigger jerkbaits. Our 3 treble hook jerkbaits. So this one is more of a traditional color pattern. It's black on top with some greenish chartreuse and some silver on the bottom. I actually have one from Monster Bass that looks almost like this. The shape is a little different, but this definitely has, again, those very, very heavy noisemakers inside. Then we start getting into the very wild color and just wild lures in general. So this one is see-through. We can see it's got a very, very small shaker inside. Very small, and it looks like it has the little shakers up in the head, and that's the only spot. It's a very tiny one. Inside doesn't look like it has any flash, but this is obviously a jerkbait. The color itself is like a see-through gold brown with yellow pattern on it. The only assumption that I can give is that this might mimic like a sunfish or a perch. I actually have not seen one painted like this before, so pretty cool. We'll give it a try, see if we can do anything. And then I'm almost torn on which one I should show you because these are the most interesting ones I've ever seen. Well, I've seen interesting lures before. Let me preference that. I've seen interesting lures before, but in a tackle box that you get, I've not seen lures that look like this before. So it'll be very interesting. I'm also very curious to know what you guys will think. So if you have any particular comments about any of these, please leave them down below and we can talk about it. So this thing here, this definitely looks like a small bluegill or crappie. It's got a fin. The shape is good. It's got its dorsal fin. It's got its gills on here. This is very well painted. Obviously pulled to the front. I don't know if this floats, if it sinks. It's got another noisemaker in here, but it's definitely not as heavy. It's got a rotating tail, and it's got like a tiny, 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 I would say almost like a cross between a willow and a Colorado blade on the back that's gold. I would assume that this is their sunfish wake. It says right here on sunfish wake. I would assume that this is it. But it also says that the sunfish wake is soft and pliable. There's nothing soft. Well, now I take that back. The tail is very soft and pliable. Definitely it is, and it spins. So I'm assuming that this is the sunfish wake. So I think that that's very, very interesting, and I really want to give that a try, but I'll have to find the right kind of body of water to try that out on. I don't think that would be too effective on our river, maybe not even on our delta, but I think in some of our reservoirs, possibly like Comanche or maybe even Pardee, that might be effective. Then we have this very jointed body lure. It doesn't have a noisemaker in it. I think this is the only one that doesn't have any kind of noisemaker in it, but it is split up into about 8 sections. So I'm assuming this will definitely give some very lifelike action, as we can kind of do right there, just our hands. The color of this, I'm not sure what pattern this would be, but it's definitely yellow, orangish with some red stripes. So I don't think it's trying to imitate a craw, but I'm not necessarily sure what kind of fish this is trying to imitate. So my thoughts overall on both of these boxes. I am really torn. I think that I'll go over the pros first, and then I'll go over some of the cons of what I think just off of my initial impressions without having used any of these baits before. Pro, right from the get-go, the website was very easy to manage. It was easy to find the pricing and kind of set up the box how I wanted it to. I don't know yet if I'm able to change any of my selections for my boxes that are in my 3-month subscription. As far as changing the species, that'll be something that I look into before next month, so I can make sure that I get something different. And if I can't, then I'll just order another box so we can see what the other species boxes might have. So if you have a preference that you would like me to open, go ahead and leave me a comment below about which box you would like me to see. Keep in mind, though, that I don't have any walleye out here. So if that, I know walleye has been in the news recently. So if that seems to be the consideration that everybody wants is for walleye, I will order the walleye box, and then maybe we will send it to one of our viewers. And that way the box can be useful instead of just sitting around here, since we don't have walleye in this area. The next thing is that the shipping was extremely fast. I believe I ordered this Friday night, and the box arrived on Tuesday, but we had some kind of errors with our equipment. We weren't able to actually film Wednesday morning like I wanted to, so now we're filming on Thursday. So the shipping was super fast compared to the other ones. It actually came by DHL, which is the only box I've ever had come by that. Most of them either come by UPS or FedEx. Sometimes the postal box or the postal service, but this was DHL and it was very fast. The next pro is that the packaging on the outside is fantastic. It definitely markets their company great. It lets you know that they have all these social media platforms that you can follow and look at. And I like that they sent each box inside a poly bag, inside a mailer. The next pro is when you open up the box, you're presented with very high quality cards that tell you what the baits are. The other ones, you do get, cards, but they're sufficient. They have the prices and everything on there. So nothing against the other ones. These ones are just a little bit bigger. They just feel a little bit higher quality. And then the actual packaging itself inside the box is phenomenal. I like that everything is separated. There's no additional packaging. So you have just the one package. So not that it makes a huge deal, but if you're trying to be environmentally conscious, you have obviously less packaging. So although, it's a far shot, I would equate this kind of packaging similar to, how you get Apple products, if that makes any sense to any of the Apple people out there. Then the lures themselves, there's a lot more than I expected, which is probably why it cost a little more than some of the other boxes out there. But one thing that I definitely like and totally stoked about is everybody knows, if you've watched my channel, I am a huge fan of crankbaits and jerkbaits. They are by far my favorite types of lures to use. And, I think everything except for one item, or excuse me, 2 items in this box are crank or jerkbaits. So I'm totally thrilled about that. I love keeping my arsenal of jerkbaits and crankbaits different. So I have different things to throw in different situations. And then the final thing about these lures that I think is really phenomenal is, well, the hooks are obviously sharp, so maybe not my final thing. I'm not sure what hooks are actually on here, but I can tell you that they're sharp. They caught on to me very easily when I was just holding them up, which a lot of the other baits that I have, unless I've switched the hooks out to some of those that I prefer, like, owners or spear point, don't really catch on to me like that. So these are very sharp. So be careful if you order one of these boxes, but also know that you can actually set the hook properly for a crank or jerk bait without having, to rip its face off. You just kind of provide a little back pressure, and I'm pretty confident that these hooks will be set and you won't have to worry about anything getting away. And if you like to see a fish get away from a crankbait, I'll leave a card to that video right there. It's quite funny. So let's go ahead and get into some of the cons for the box. I would say, number one, that one of the cons for the box is that it is more expensive than the others. It's not wildly more expensive. I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe Mystery Tackle Box as well as Monster Bass, their top tier box is around $38. And I believe this is $43.99. So, the price is not unreasonable, and I think it's actually right on par. And the justification that, at least that I can provide for having the box that's higher quality, or having a box that costs more, is, number one, the paint scheme is a lot better than a lot of the other baits, or more custom, I'd say. Not better. The packaging, though, is definitely better. I don't really think that that's up for debate, that the packaging is much better. So I think you're probably paying for a little bit of the packaging. So those would be the justifications, I think, of why it's a little bit more expensive than some of the other ones. But no complaints here. Fishing is expensive. And I've said before, if you are on a very small budget, then probably being a tournament angler is not your thing, and maybe just a casual angler. So that's one of the cons. The other con for me, and I think this is the biggest con, is that it's extremely hard to tell what these lures are. With the other ones where they're provided in their individual packaging, you know what they are because they have the brands on there. Everything in this box is stamped with Warriors, so there's no way to actually tell what these lures are unless you've had experience with them before. I'm positive that I can go through this card and kind of narrow it down to what they are, and I'll do that. I'll leave a little montage right after this of what each is with a close-up photo so you guys can see exactly what they are. But that would be my biggest con, is that it's just really hard to tell what the baits are. So as I said earlier, if somebody from Warriors is listening, I think that would be a great improvement. Even if you just printed it on top of this box lid of what was in what spot, that would be great. And I think that would make everything a little bit easier for everybody. So that wraps up our Warriors Tackle Supply mystery lure unboxing. There were no soft baits. Not gonna really complain because soft bait is not my favorite. Just a really different experience all around. So just on my initial experience from the unboxing, I'd probably give this an 8 out of a 10, which I think is really great. So if you want to try a Warriors Tactical Supply box, and remember that part of the proceeds go to supporting veterans and first responder organizations, I'll leave a link below. And if there's a promo code, it will be right next to it as well. We do have now 32 subscribers, so we're getting closer towards giving away that Monster Bass box. We need 100. So let's get those subscriptions up so we can give out that box. I do have a mystery tackle box that's waiting to go out right after that. And please leave me what species of Warrior Tactical Supply box you'd like me to look at next time. And, like I said, if it's species that I can't use here, we'll give that box away. So if you enjoyed this content, please like the video, subscribe. As always, it's greatly appreciated, and I'll catch you next time.